Welcome to day 13. Today, I want to talk to you about how to survive the weekend and manage overeating if this is something that you struggle with. For most people, they make it Monday through Friday with everything on track. But then once the clock strikes 5 p.m. on Friday, it's like the full moon has come out and they transform into some insatiable cookie monster that looks for sugary food and bad decisions to stick its teeth into. Sometimes it slowly creeps up on you, almost unnoticeable, while others it's like the start of a race where you rush to see how much you can eat before Monday morning rolls around again. Now, in Sleeky's coaching program, we call this weekend dietitis, and we have identified 4 main causes along with some great suggestions on how you can deal with it. So, reason number 1 for weekend dietitis is trying to be perfect. Most of us like rules and guidelines because they help us feel more in control and on track. In fact, oftentimes the stricter the better, especially if we don't trust ourselves or aren't confident in our own abilities. The problem with this is eventually we crack or slip up, and the weekend is usually a pretty convenient time for that. We often start hectic diets or workout plans when life is going perfectly, or at least well enough. But then as soon as things get messy or complicated and we can no longer keep up, everything falls apart. This is why trying to be perfect isn't a great strategy for surviving the weekend. So what's the solution? I suggest you try and aim for progress and not perfection. You see, the perfect diet or the most effective workout plan is useless if you can't stick to it. But the decent plan that you follow is better than the perfect plan that you quit. That's why keeping things simple and doable is a winning strategy, especially when it comes to the weekend where you likely have less routine and less structure. If your weekend is usually a mess when it comes to eating and exercising, rather than looking at how you can completely overhaul your whole lifestyle to create the perfect healthy weekend, look to see how you can make it just a teeny tiny bit better, and then work on making progress on that plan every week thereafter. So now reason number 2 for weekend overeating is having an all or nothing mindset. Many people think that in order for a diet or an exercise plan to work, it needs to be followed perfectly. For example, you have to eat this exact meal in this exact amount at this exact time, or there's no point in even trying at all. Anything less than that is useless. But this is not true at all. Health and fitness is not a binary on and off switch like a light bulb. It's more of a best effort kind of thing, where your efforts and results can come in all shapes and sizes. Maybe some weeks you make a bit more progress than others, but even the smallest amount of effort leading to the smallest amount of progress is still progress and is still moving you forwards. This all or nothing thinking gives you 2 options: perfect or crap, with the latter being much more likely over the long term. So what's the solution to this? Operate along a spectrum of possible options. If you get one flat tire, you wouldn't go out and slash the other 3, would you? No, you'd pop on a spare tire and keep going. So why don't you do that with the health and fitness too? Rather than only focusing on the perfect meals or workouts, just do your best with what you've got. Even if something doesn't go according to plan, just deal with it and then get right back on track. When faced with a problem, think in terms of like pretty good or not too bad options. Just find the best choices that you can make with your current abilities and challenges so that you can keep momentum going rather than starting again from scratch. So now, instead of slashing your 3 remaining tires, pull out the spare. I know it's not perfect, but at least you can still get to your destination. You have to start all over again. Now, reason number 3 for weekend dietitis is trading good behavior for bad behavior. This one's pretty simple. It's kind of like being in prison or being 5 years old. If you're good, you get time for your sentence, or you get nice sweeties as a reward. So when it comes to your health and fitness, you were good all week, and now you're giving yourself permission to be bad on the weekend, or you feel that the world owes you something and you deserve a reward for your efforts. Funny enough, this is actually the most common after you experience a bit of success. For example, you lose 2 kilograms and then you ease up a bit or you treat yourself. So what's the solution? Grow up. Trading off good behavior and bad behavior is for convicts and little kiddies. How about you just go do your time and act like a grown up instead? Come back to me in 5 to 10 years of good behavior time when you have undone the past 5 to 10 years of bad behavior, and then your reward will be a rocking new body with incredible health. Listen, the world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. You need to take complete responsibility for your actions. both good and bad. If you really feel the need to reward yourself, then do it with non-food rewards. And even if you experience the slightest bit of success, use it to fuel your motivation and work even harder. Now, reason number 4 for weekend dietists is rationalizing with yourself. During the week, we tend to have a familiar and comfortable routine. There are less unexpected surprises, and we have to make less hard decisions. However, the weekends present all sorts of opportunities for justifying eating junk or skipping workouts. It doesn't matter whether there are valid reasons or not, we just find a way to justify them. Maybe we ate badly because we were busy, or we ate badly because we had nothing to do. Maybe we didn't get a workout in because we were traveling, or maybe we didn't get a workout in because we were stuck at home. Maybe we had family time or social meals, or maybe we ate all by our poor lonely selves. It doesn't matter what it is, any excuse will do. Poor you, victim of circumstance. When you get into the habit of rationalizing all the time, you tend to not even try at all, or you give up at the slightest sign of resistance. This is a dangerous and slippery slope. So, what's the solution? You need to notice and challenge the stories that you're telling yourself. We all have these convenient scripts that we follow that help us rationalize bad behavior or why we aren't successful most of the time. The thing is, there are people out there who are busy or bored or traveling or confined to their home or big on family and socializing or terribly lonely, who are still able to eat good food and get regular workouts in with ease. These people just have different stories about themselves. They don't think about good or bad luck, good or bad genetics, good or bad finances, good or bad circumstances. Instead, they focus on being resourceful and problem solving and on being fully responsible for their own lives. It's kind of like being an optimist versus a pessimist. Optimists will look at any given situation and see all the things that can go right, while pessimists look at the same situation and see all the things that can go wrong. As I say, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning how to dance in the rain. Cool. So for today, all I want you to do is to take serious stock of your weekend behavior. Do you recognize any of the symptoms of weekenditis in your life? Do you have any of these causes that strike a nerve? Even if you are pretty good on the weekend, try to identify at least one of these solutions that you can implement and work on in your life going forwards. And because I know how the weekends are, I suggest you actually set a weekend reminder on your phone to automatically go off each weekend with a small reminder or cue on what you should be focusing on to win the weekend. All about being prepared. See you tomorrow. Cheers.